Hey there, Michael Sherlock here, Chief Potential Officer of Shock Your Potential, and you're here for morning motivation. Might not be the motivation you're thinking about today, though. I don't know. We talk about potential all the time, and I'm telling you, last week I did not feel like I was filled with much potential. Uh, those days, weeks, full week, where you can't really get anything done all the way and things just get in your way, like yourself, and you try to do things and they get screwed up, and then you get mad at yourself and you get frustrated. I had a couple days like that in a row, like three. so uh, it kind of all came to fruition, or not fruition, all came to a head over an Excel spreadsheet, like moment where my brain went, oh my God. I'd been working on a certain spreadsheet for a project we've been working on, and it has a lot of different calculations and formulas in it. And I am not an Excel expert in any way, shape, or form. I know just enough to make me dangerous. Um, and it was in the middle of, trying to do something that needed to be done. I got it all the way to the end, beautifully done. I was tying in formulas from different pages, so proud of myself. And then one of the formulas got screwed up. And then I couldn't fix it. And then I tried a different way to fix it, and then another way to fix it. And in the end, after over an hour, just at that point, I just recreated the entire spreadsheet. I started over from scratch. And then I was so proud of myself because I was like, okay, you know what? You fought through that and you did it and you got it done. And I went to do a video message for my team that it was related to explain it to them. And as I'm showing them the spreadsheet, I found another mistake. And when I went back to try and fix it, another 45 minutes later, I couldn't fix it. I couldn't fix it. And now I'm mad at myself. I'm frustrated. I'm feeling like an idiot. I'm, beside myself in terms of mental exhaustion. So I thought, you know what? This is a good thing to talk about for morning motivation, because we all get there, right? Those moments where you get stuck, where you're trying to do something, you need to get it done. And all you do is keep banging your head against a wall. We talk about it like the definition of insanity, right? That's, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting to get a different result. And yet we all know this definition and we all still do it. And then we still are mad at ourselves in the process. So I decided to take a little breath, take a little breather, and sit back and look at it from a different perspective. So I came up with 3 tips that I'm working on with myself to try and not only get out of those situations faster, but recognize when I'm getting in them and try and do something different along the way. So the first one is just what I always go to is stop and breathe. Yoga dog reminds me. I had just gotten on a Zoom call that I had to do in between, working on this crazy project. And as I see him in the background, I was like, all right, Sherlock, there's your reminder. You're too close to this. And so you're too frustrated. You just have to stop. Just stop the insanity. Stop what you're doing. It's not working. So just stop. Take that breath. Find some clarity. And my second point was to do exactly what I did, and that was just walk away. Literally walk away. Literally get up from my desk, shut the Excel spreadsheet down, close it out, walk away. I do that often in my day. I'm used to, prior to the pandemic, I was used to traveling so much. It's really hard for me to sit in a chair. In fact, next week, you'll notice I'll have something different because I have my new stand-up desk coming. And so I'll be standing and delivering my morning motivations from that point on. But here I am, I'm sitting because it's like the way I have my setup. And it's hard to sit. It's hard to sit all day. It's not good for us, not good for our bodies, but it's hard to sit all day, especially when you're frustrated with yourself or something's not working, because in essence, you're kind of trapped. And if you actually saw my desk, I have this big desk, it kind of wraps around here. And I literally, when I'm up, especially filming, I'm in this curve and I can't maneuver very much. I can't even get my chair, move too much because it'll hit the leg of the table. So I'm physically confined. So when I'm already mentally frustrated, I'm challenged no matter what, but I'm physically also confined to my space. It gets back to what we've been talking about a couple times, in the last couple of weeks about being tested or taking tests. And that's a sense of when you start to shut down and you start to physically kind of, freak out or get yourself into that, I'm going to protect myself mode. It's very similar than when we get frustrated with things. And when you actually literally get up and walk away, take a walk around the block. Sometimes if I can't, like I went up the other day to go walking and it was raining outside. So I just walked up and down my stairs. There's 4 flights. So, there's a good amount of exercise. It's like 101 steps from my basement office, I think, to the upstairs. And, by doing that, I'm physically now free. So my body is going to move differently, which is going to allow my mind to work differently. And when we do that, then we start to get out of that frustration mode. We stop the insanity and we start literally moving again, first with our physical self and then with our brains, because our brains will open up with that. But I think the last thing that I really learned last week was to ask for help. Now, it's not always available or easily accessible to ask for help. But in this case, I'm working so hard on a stupid spreadsheet. And when my husband would get home that night, I could have asked him. But I kept banging my head against the wall just to fix that one thing, so stubborn in my need to fix it. And when I literally got up and walked around, took some deep breaths, and said, "What are you doing, Sherlock? You're making yourself crazy. And the only person you have to blame is you." And I put it in a lot of different perspective because I knew that I could ask my husband for help. I'm not worried about him laughing at me or anything. He can fix my spreadsheet issues in no time flat. So why wouldn't I be willing to ask for help instead of waste 2 hours of my day? Because when I look back and I look at that point, wasting 2 hours of that day is exactly what I did. Now, I'm not saying you give up at the first sign of trouble. Sometimes we do have to spend time working on something and really, battling our way through it, but not all the time. We got to choose the battles that we decide to fight. And the one battle that, we have to fight first in my case is my own stubbornness. And sometimes it's just momentum. I'm already doing it. Why not keep doing it? I'm sure the next time I click that thing, it's going to work that time. But what does that do to us? Well, not only does it set us up in a frustration cycle, but it actually eats away at our sense of self-worth or our ability to get things done. So when I start talking to myself and calling myself Sherlock, I'm usually not having a really good conversation, which means I'm not in a positive space to help myself. So as I look forward to this week, I'm putting all those things behind me. I'm closing the door on them and I'm moving into a new week saying, okay, I'm going to have frustrations this week like I do every week, like you do every week. But how I approach them this week will be different. And the Excel spreadsheet is going to help me. It's funny, but I actually printed out a copy of that one page of the spreadsheet and I put it over on my wall. Why? Because I wanted to remind myself this week at least that not taking the path of banging my head against the wall will not only help me avoid headaches, but will help me to remember to be good to myself. I can't do it all. I can't do it all perfectly the first time. I can't do it all perfectly the 19th time sometimes. But that doesn't mean that I can't do it or won't do it. But it also means I don't have to do it the way I'm doing it if I'm frustrating myself. So remember, if you like what we are putting out here every week, make sure to subscribe to our channel and share it with people that you know might benefit from some of my little tips that some I learned the hard way and some I've learned the harder way. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic week. Remember, don't get frustrated with yourself. take the opportunity to learn how to do something different and avoid the insanity. Have a great week, you guys.